Okay, good morning, Pardeep. What about assignments?
Morning, ma'am. Ma'am, you give us a submission date and we'll submit to you on that date.
In the last class, I told that next class you have to submit it, na?
Okay, ma'am. So
So,
by today, we'll send it to your mail.
okay, I will provide you my email address.
Okay, ma'am.
Or else, is Google Classroom is better to assignments?
Yes, ma'am. Whatever it is you give us by today before 12, we'll submit it to you. 12 in the evening.
Okay, those who are not completed, you can
Ma'am,
submit it
like,
by Sunday.
okay, ma'am. Then, ma'am, if you give us one date, people will submit by that date. If Sunday is there, so everybody will submit by Sunday. That is how everybody does. If it is okay, ma'am.
Okay, everyone, completed assignments? All of you completed your assignments.
No, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Why
is it
are this?
mandatory to write the assignments because last semester for AI we did not have to write assignments.
Actually, we don't have assignment marks.
Okay, ma'am.
But if you write, um, you can easily understand the concepts. That's why I'm giving you assignments.
So it is mandatory to write.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
You need to write at least some points.
Okay, ma'am.
First, read the concept and you can note some important points, so that you can easily understand the concepts and you can easily remember. Anybody is there to join?
Yes, ma'am. Some of them are waiting.
Okay, today we will revise all the topics for previous classes. Those we are completed 3 units. Those we can
Ma'am,
revise today. Okay, ma.
some of them are waiting, ma'am, to join.
Here it not showing, ma.
Okay, ma'am. They texted me like 2 minutes ago. I'll ask them.
Okay, ma. We'll start the review. Sorry. కొన్ని ఇంపార్టెంట్ టాపిక్స్ మనం రివైజ్ చేద్దాం. First of all, what is cyber security? Anyone give me definition? Rajshri? Suchit? Srilekha? So what is cyber security? Anyone tell me what is cyber security? You can see here. At least choose an answer చెప్పొచ్చు కదా. So here, cybersecurity definition, it is the practice of defending computers, servers, mobile devices, electronic systems, networks, and data from the malicious attacks. So cybersecurity is the most concerned matter at cyber threats and attacks are overgrown. So here, attackers are now using more sophisticated techniques. So they are targeting the systems. So for protecting our computers and servers, we are using cyber security concepts. Next, what is cybercrime? Cybercrime means it includes the single actors or group of targeting systems, or they are targeting our systems for the financial gain or to cause any disruption or to cause panic. And cyber attack means it involves the politically motivated information for gathering. Politically motivated information gathering. So, what is cyber terrorism? Cyber terrorism means it is intended to undermine the electronic systems to cause panic or fear to the people. So, we are having layers of security. We are providing some layers to cyber security, that is backup, data security, endpoint security, network security, and edge security, and also perimeter security and policies and operations. These layers are we are using to protect our systems. So in this we are having types of cyber attacks like web-based attacks and system-based attacks. Web-based attacks means like injection attacks, DNS spoofing, session hijacking, phishing, brute force, and denial of service. These are web-based attacks. And coming to the system-based attacks. System-based attacks means viruses, worms, Trojan horse, backdoors, bots. These are all system-based attacks. So coming to the vulnerability. So what is vulnerability? What is the difference between vulnerability and threat? So vulnerability means vulnerability means it is the data breaches illustrates there is no system is immune to attack. It means the weakness of systems. So vulnerabilities are the gaps or weakness in a system that makes threat possible and attempt to threat actors to exploit them. So మనకి సిస్టమ్స్ లో ఉన్న వీక్నెస్ కానీ లేదంటే మన సిస్టమ్స్ లో ప్రైవసీ సెట్టింగ్స్ కానీ ఫైర్ వాల్స్ యాంటీవైరస్ లాంటివి మనం సరిగ్గా యూజ్ చేయకపోయినా వాటిని అప్డేట్ చేయకపోయినా అలాంటివి మనకి వల్నరబిలిటీస్ లాగా ఉంటాయి అన్నమాట. సో ఏదైనా థ్రెడ్ జరగడానికి వాళ్ళకి ఏదో ఒక గ్యాప్ కానీ వీక్నెస్ కానీ కనిపించాలి. సో అలాంటి వాటిని మనం వల్నరబిలిటీ అంటాం. సో వాట్ ఈస్ థ్రెడ్? So we are having types of vulnerabilities. So vulnerability means it is in network security. It is including limited SQL injections and server misconfigurations and cross-site scriptings and transmitting sensitive data and non-encrypted plain text formats. Ivanni manaki types of vulnerabilities. These are to cause threat. We are having types of vulnerabilities. First one is substandard backup and recovery. And weak authentication management, poor network monitoring, end user errors and misuse and inadequate endpoint security. These are types of vulnerabilities. And coming to the threat means cyber threats are security incidents and circumstances circumstances with the potential to have the negative outcome for our network or other any data management systems. So, for example, we are having some threats like phishing attacks and malwares and data breaches. Like here we are having some threats, viruses, malwares, trojans, spywares, phishing attacks. Like phishing attacks means it results in the installation of malware, and this malware infects our data and failure of staff members to follow the protection protocols, and it causes a data breach. So these are all like phishing attacks. So threat definition is a threat is a potential or negative action or event facilitated by the vulnerability that results in a unwanted impact to a computer system or application. So this is threat. And what is internet governance? Internet governance means it refers to the rules and policy standard practices that coordinate and shape the global cyberspace. And we are using some uh, internet governance rules and security protocols like TCPs, UDPs, DNS, and BGP protocols. In networking, we are using networking protocols, IP protocols, and the common adoption and use of these protocols unified the world of information and communications like never before. So, using internet governance, we are having some protocols and rules and restrictions. So, we are having some types of criminals like type 1 is cyber criminals. They are hungry for recognition like hobby hackers, IT professionals, politically motivated hackers. And type 2 are not interested in recognition. Those are physically perverts and financially motivated hackers and state-sponsored hackers, organized criminals. And type 3 are the insiders, disgruntled for former employees seeking revenge and competing companies using employees to gain the economic advantages. And CIA triad. So this CIA triad means CIA means confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So it is the CIA triad is actually it is a security model. So it is developed to help the people to think about the various parts of IT security. In this confidentiality means protecting confidentiality. It is being able to define the enforce of the certain access levels of the informations. And integrity means it is the integrity is it is providing it is designed to protect the data from the deletion or modification from the another parties. This is integrity. And availability means so availability refers to the actual availability of our data in authentication mechanisms and access channels and systems. They all have to work properly for the information. Some they are protecting to protect the and ensure the its availability of the information. Like it assures that system it is worked properly and service is not denied to authorized users. So this is CIA triad: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. These three are main components in the CIA triad. So what is the motive of attackers? So in motive of attackers, we are having three types of attackers, like politically motivated attackers, and economic attackers, and socio-cultural motivation attackers. So here, political attackers means so these type of attackers is trying to destroying, disrupting, or taking control of the targets. Like they are making political statements, protests, and relationally actions. These are terms under the politically motivated attackers. And economically motivators means it includes the intellectual property or other economically valuable assets like funds, credit card informations, and frauds, industrial, and they are trying to blackmail the persons like political issues కానీ లేదంటే పర్సనల్ రివెంజ్ కోసం ఎకనామికల్లీ మోటివేటెడ్ హ్యాకర్స్ ఉంటాయి. సోషియో కల్చర్ మోటివేషన్ అటాకర్స్ మీన్స్ here these type of attackers philosophical and theological and political and even humanitarian goals they are having. These are all some examples of social culture attackers. And social culture motivations also include some fun, curiosity, and desire for the publicity or ego gratification. And next, active attacks and passive attack. So an active attack is a network exploit in which a hacker attempts to make the changes to data on target or data encode the targets. So here active attack means it is trying to modify the information, and passive attack means it is trying to change or modify the attacks. Like here confidentiality is there, here there is no confidentiality, here availability is there, here no availability. So this is active and passive attacks. So software attacks means, so passive attacks లో ఏంటంటే ఈవ్స్ డ్రాపింగ్, ట్రాఫిక్ అనాలిసిస్, సాఫ్ట్వేర్ అటాక్స్ ఇవన్నీ పాసివ్ అటాక్స్ కిందకి వస్తాయి. అండ్ యాక్టివ్ అటాక్స్ లో ఏంటంటే మెసేజ్ మోడిఫికేషన్, సెషన్ రిప్లేస్, డేనియల్ ఆఫ్ సర్వీస్, డిస్ట్రిబ్యూటెడ్ ఆఫ్ డేనియల్ ఆఫ్ సర్వీసెస్ ఇవన్నీ మనకి యాక్టివ్ అటాక్ లోకి వస్తాయి. సో వాట్ ఈస్ సాఫ్ట్వేర్ అటాక్స్? సాఫ్ట్వేర్ అటాక్స్ మీన్స్ ఇది కూడా వన్ టైప్ ఆఫ్ passive attacks. Like here we are providing malicious codes. It is a code, one type of software code. It is designed to take over the damage or a computer system's operating systems. So without the user knowledge, they are approving and they are changing and modifying the system's information. And also they are trying to remove damage. They are making damages in our systems. So in active attacks like viruses, system attacks like viruses, worms, Trojan horse, logic bombs, these are software attacks. And malware, ransomware, phishing, and logic bombs, these all are software attacks. And coming to the hardware attacks. So hardware attacks it includes the manufacturing backdoors for the malwares or other any penetrating purposes. Like software and hardware, it is also affect the embedded radio frequency identification chips and memories. And here eavesdropping by gaining access to protect the memory without opening other hardwares. And these hardware attacks are including it includes faults causing the interruption of the normal behavior of the operating systems. And here hardware modification, tamperings are there. So this is software and hardware. Like IP spoofing. IP spoofing means it is the internet protocol. So using this we can easily modify our source address or actual address we can modify it. Like IP spoofing is the creation of internet protocol packets which have a modified source address in order to either hide the identity of the sender or to impersonate the another compute system or both. So using IP spoofing, we can send the message to someone. So without our IP address. సో మనం మన IP అడ్రస్ అనేది తెలియకుండా మనం ఒకరి నుంచి ఒకరికి మెసేజ్ అనేది ఈజీగా పాస్ చేయగలుగుతాం. సో హియర్ మెథడ్స్ ఆఫ్ డిఫెన్స్ మీన్స్ in this methods of defense, encryption and software controls, hardware controls like policies, physical controls, effectiveness of controls and overlapping controls, periodic reviews. These are all comes under the methods of defense. So మనం మన సిస్టమ్ ని ఫిజికల్ గా అండ్ మనం ఎలా మన సిస్టమ్ ని ప్రొటెక్ట్ చేసుకుంటాం అనేది మెథడ్స్ ఆఫ్ డిఫెన్స్. లైక్ encrypting our data and software and hardware controls. Like software లో కానీ హార్డ్వేర్స్ లో కానీ మనం ఫిజికల్ గా కొన్ని ఫైర్ వాల్స్ ని, యాంటీవైరసెస్ ని యూజ్ చేయడము. సో యాంటీవైరస్ ని కానీ డే టు డే మనం అప్డేట్ చేస్తూ ఉండడం, ఇవన్నీ మెథడ్స్ ఆఫ్ డిఫెన్స్. సో సెక్యూరిటీ మోడల్స్. So in our operating system, we can use any operating systems like Windows, Linux, any other operating system we are using. In that, we are using programming codes. So here we are using security models like Viva, Bell LaPadula model, state machines model. These three are we are using security models, and in this we are using security policies like NIST, ISO, FIPS. These are all security model. In that we are having security policies. So state machine model. This is the flow diagram of the state machine model, and this is state machine control. In this condition 1 is here we are opening the doors, and if we are opening the doors, the condition is సో మనం డోర్స్ ఓపెన్ చేసినప్పుడు హ్యాక్ కానీ అటాక్ అయ్యే ఛాన్సెస్ ఎక్కువగా ఉంటాయి. సో మనం డోర్స్ అనేది క్లోజ్ చేసినప్పుడు మనకి అటాక్స్ అనేవి తక్కువగా ఉంటాయి అనమాట. అండ్ బెల్ లాపిడా మోడల్ ఇన్ దిస్ వీఆర్ హ్యావింగ్ 3 ప్రాపర్టీస్ లైక్ సింపుల్ సెక్యూరిటీ ప్రాపర్టీ, స్టార్ సెక్యూరిటీ ప్రాపర్టీ, స్ట్రాంగ్ సెక్యూరిటీ ప్రాపర్టీ. సో సింపుల్ సెక్యూరిటీ ప్రాపర్టీలో ఏంటంటే మనకి కాన్ఫిడెన్షియాలిటీ ఎక్కువగా ఉంటుంది, అండ్ స్టార్ సెక్యూరిటీ ప్రాపర్టీలో ఏంటంటే మనకి కాన్ఫిడెన్షియాలిటీ అనేది తక్కువగా ఉంటుంది. ఇందులో ఏంటంటే ఇంటిగ్రిటీ అండ్ అవైలబిలిటీ ఎక్కువగా ఉంటుంది. So this is Bell LaPadula model. Viva model means here we are having some integrity properties like simple integrity property, star integrity property, invocation properties. So here simple integrity property means it is protected states this property of state that is subject at the one level of integrity. It is not permitted to read an object of lower integrity. And star integrity property means this property states that an object at one level of integrity and is not permitted to write to an object of higher integrity. Invocation property means this property prohibits the subject at one level of integrity from invoking the subject at a higher level of integrity. And coming to the risk management. So we are using the risk management to identify, analyze and evaluate the data from we are gathering some electronic devices. So using that we are identifying the data, and that data is analyzed. Here we are analyzing the data, evaluating, and finally we are treating the data. And here cyber risk management means cyber risk management is the process of identifying, analyzing and evaluating and addressing our organization cyber security threats. సో మన ఆర్గనైజేషన్స్లో ఏమైనా వల్నరబిలిటీస్ కానీ థ్రెట్స్ కానీ ఉన్నాయా లేదా అనేది మనం ఒకవేళ థ్రెట్స్ కానీ వల్నరబిలిటీస్ కానీ ఉంటే వాటిని ఎలా ట్రీట్ చేయాలి అనేది మనం ఇక్కడ చూస్తాం. సో హియర్ వీఆర్ మానిటరింగ్, కంటిన్యూస్ మానిటరింగ్. నెక్స్ట్ cyber warfare. Cyber warfare means it is the computer or network based conflict. It is involving politically motivated attacks by a nation or state or another nation or state. So this is first unit. And coming to the second unit, so cyberspace and the law in the cyber forensics. So this is what is cyberspace. Cyberspace is it can be defined as an intricate environment that involves the interactions between people, software and services. And also the cyberspace is maintained by the worldwide distribution of the information and communication technology devices and network. Cyberspace is nothing but an online platform. So we are using online platform means we are making shoppings and we are using internet bankings, and also we are using some web-based applications. So we are providing some cyberspace benefits to carry the technological advancements. Like cyberspace is it is becoming a common tool to every citizens or business persons. For this cyberspace, we are providing some security regulations like Information Technology Act 2000 and the Indian Cyber Law are governed by the Information Technology Act in 2000 only. So this IT Act 2000 is acts to offer the reliable legal influences like e-commerce, facilitating regulations, registrations of real-time records with the governments. So here we are having section 43, section 66, section 66B, section 66C and D. So this section 43, it is applicable to people who damage the computer system without permission from the owner. So here the owner can claim the compensation for the full claim of that damaged systems. And in section 66 means it is applicable to the persons who are making fraudulent for committing an act. It is referred to section 43. Here they may be impersonate 2 to 3 years or they may be fine up to 5 lakhs. So section 66B. So here the fraudulence receiving stolen communication devices or computers, and it compounds the probable of 3 years impersonate, or they may be fine up to 1 lakh. It is depending on the severity of the damage. And section 66C and D, these two are here identity thefts related to digital signatures, hacking passwords or other identification features. Here there may be imprisonment like 3 years, and also it is they may be gave fine to 1 lakh rupees. And section 66D means it was inserted on demand, focusing of punishing cheaters during impersonation using computer resources. These sections are used to imprisonment or they may fine up to 1 lakh to 5 lakh rupees. Next, Indian Penal Code 1990. IPC 1980. It is associated with cyber. It is identified thefts and associated cyber frauds and the Indian Penal Code 1860, and it is invoked along with the Information Technology Act 2000. Right? This IPC 1990 covers some cyber frauds like forgery pre-planned for cheating, false documentation, presenting a forged documents as a genuine, and reputation damage, and Companies Act of 2013. So this IPC 1980 Act covers these forgery documents. So here we are using section 466. It is forgery, and forgery pre-planned for cheating comes under the section 468. And coming to the Companies Act of 2013 means the corporate stakeholders and the stakeholders refers to the Companies Act 2013. So they are using legal obligations, and they are necessary for the refinement of daily operations. So the Companies Act, they are providing some rules and strict guidelines, and conforming the cybersecurity obligations and responsibilities upon the company's directors and leaders. And roles of international law. So various countries and various areas they are computing and communication industries, and they are regulated by the government bodies. Like they are specifying some rules and restrictions for the computers and computer networks. And international law of cyber crime means it is international, that there are no cyber borders between countries. Like cyber attackers may be they may be attacked in any countries. Like the complexity of the type of form cyber increases the difficulty. It is very difficult to fight back to the cyber crimes. And the cybercrime calls for the international corporations, like various organizations and governments have They are already made joint efforts in establishing global standards. And the law enforcement systems. Next, Indian cyberspace. So this Indian cyberspace is born in 1975. It is an establishment with the National Informatics Center, like NIC. So it is aimed to provide the government with IT solutions. So this Indian cyberspace is established a three-layered network. In 1986 to 1988, they set up some three networks like Indonet, NICnet, and VSAT. Indonet means, so this Indonet means it is connected to the IBM mainframe installations, and it is made of India's computer infrastructure. And NICnet means it is nationwide small networks, and it is using very small updated terminals. And ERNet means ERNet is used to educate and research networks. It is served the academic and research communications. So the Internet Policy 1998 paved the it is way of services for the multiple internet services providers like ISPs. Next, National Cyber Security Policy. So National Cyber Security Policy means it is like a framework. It is by this framework is by the Department of Electronics and Information Technology. So what is the aim of this National Cyber Security Policy? To protect the public and private infrastructure from the cyber attacks. So it is intended to safeguard the information like personal information, financial and banking information. So and also it is relevant to the national security agencies like NSAs. It cannot leak that suggests that US government agencies are spying on Indian users. Those who have no legal or technical safeguards against the IT Ministry of Communications and Information Technologies. So what is the main vision of this National Cyber Security Policy? So the vision is to build a secure and resilient cyberspace for the citizens, business and government, and also to protect anyone from intervening in users' privacy. And what is the mission of the National Cyber Security Policy? To protect information and information infrastructure in cyberspace, or to build the capabilities to prevent and respond to the cyber threat, and it reduce the vulnerabilities and minimize the damage from the cyber incidents through a combination of institutional structures like peoples, processes, technology and cooperations. So what is the main objective of the National Cyber Security Policy? So here Ministry of Communications and Information Technology, it defines the objective as like it is to create the secure cyber ecosystem in the country and to create an assurance framework for the design of security policies, and it is strengthen the regulatory framework for ensuring a secure cyberspace ecosystem and to enhance the create national and sectoral mechanisms for the obtaining strategic information regarding threats. So this is National Cyber Security Policy. So coming to the cyber forensics. So what is cyber forensics? So cyber forensics is the application of investigation and analysis of techniques to gather and preserve the evidences. So definition is cyber forensics is a method of extracting and preserving data from a computer so that it can be used in a criminal proceedings as evidences. Like forensic examiners, they are analyzing the data from personal computers, laptops, or any other electronic devices like cell phones, laptops. And the process can involve anything from breaking encryption and to execute the search warrants with the law enforcement systems to recover and analyze the critical evidence. And what is digital forensics? So digital forensic is, it is defined as the process of preservation, identification, extraction and documentation of computer evidence which can be used by the court of law. So digital forensic is it is a science of finding evidence from the digital media. In this we are having some steps like preservation, identification, first identification. So in this first step is identification, preservation, extraction or interpretation and documentation. Finally we are presenting the evidence in the court of law. So this digital forensics helps to forensic team to analyze, inspect, identify and preserve the digital evidences. It is residing on various types of electronic devices. Finally, this digital forensic focuses on the recovery of investigation of material found in digital devices. So what is cyber forensic and digital evidence? So digital evidence means it is nothing but the electronic devices like hardware, mobiles and laptops. So digital evidence is information stored or transmitted in binary form that may be relied on in court, like it can be found on computer hardware and mobile phones in any other electronic devices. So next, forensic analysis of email. So this email forensic refers to the study of source and content of emails. It is as evidence to identify the actual sender and recipient of the message. In this, first we are using some various approaches to analysis of email forensics. Like header analysis means, in this we are using metadata in the email messages. It is in the form of control information, that is, it is having headers including headers in the message body, and it contains information about the sender or the path along which the message has traversed. So this is useful to identify the actual sender of the message. And bait tactics means, so here the bait tactics, it is using some image source tag. So image source tag is, it is having image source. It's some computer monitored by the investigators. It is sent to the sender of the email under the investigation containing real email address. Using image source, we are using image source tag. We can easily identify the actual sender of the message. And server investigations. And server investigations means it is having the copies of delivered emails and server logs. It is investigated to identify the source of an email messages. So network device investigation, software embedded identifiers. So these two are in the form of email investigations and logs maintained by the network devices such as routers, firewalls and switches. And also they are used to investigate the source of an email message. So embedded identifier, software embedded identifier means it is having some information about the creator of the email. So those attached files or documents may be included with the message by the email softwares. So those softwares used by the senders are composed emails. And sender mail fingerprints means, so here identification of software handling emails and the servers can be reviewed from the received header fields and identification of software handlings. These can be using a different set of headers like Xmailers, using this some clients to send emails using these sender mail fingerprints. The information about the client computer of the sender, they can be used to help the investigators devices. So it is an effective way to find the actual sender of the messages. So in this we are using some email forensic tools like MI Tech Mail Viewer, OST and PST viewers, email tracker tools and email tracers. We are using some tools. And coming to the digital forensic life cycle means, here we are having, we are collecting the information. So we are identifying some potential sources of data, and we are collecting the data from electronic devices. And examination means, so the data has been collected from the electronic devices. So we can examine the collected data, which involves the accessing and extracting the relevant pieces of the information from the collected data. So analysis means it is we are extracting the information from those examinations data, and we are analyzing the data and analyzing the data to draw the conclusions from the collected information. So here the forensic is using the methodological approaches to reach the appropriate conclusions based on the data. And reporting means, so here this process of preparing and presenting the information results the analyzing phase. So in this reporting we are using many factors to affect the reporting, including alternative explanations, audience considerations, actionable informations. So using these we are finally providing the evidences. We are reporting these evidences in the court of law. We are having some types of forensic investigations like forensic accounting, computer cyber forensics, crimes in forensics, forensic archaeology, dentistry, entomology, graphology. These are all like some types of forensic investigations. So here we are using some challenges in computer forensics like technical challenges, legal challenges, resource challenges. So this digital forensics has defined as the use of scientifically derived and proven methods. It is towards to the identification, collection, preservation of the data. So here we are using so much of digital evidences. So that we are having some challenges, like we are having many major challenges like technical challenges. Technical challenges means, here the technology develops the crimes and criminals, and they are also developed with, so digital forensic experts, and they are using some tools to collect and to modify the data like encryption. And technical challenges, encryption. So encryption is, so attackers are using it to ensure the privacy of information by keeping it hidden from any other persons. So criminals also using encryption methods, and data hiding in storage spaces. Criminals are using they want to hide their data inside the storage mediums so that it is invisible to the system commands, and using system commands and programs they can hide their data in storage mediums. And covert channel means, the covert channel is the communication protocols. So it can easily allows the attackers to bypass intrusions so that they can detect the techniques and hide the data over the networks. And legal challenges means, legal challenges here, absence of guidelines and standards, limitations of the Indian Evidence Act. So Indian Evidence Act 1872 is having some limited approaches so that the criminals can easily modify it, and the digital evidence is easily tampered and altered or transmitted. And absence of guidelines means they don't have any guidelines for the cyber forensics laboratories or investing agencies. They don't have any guidelines. So this is also one major challenge in cyber forensics. And coming to the resource challenges, they're having changing technology and volume and replication. So due to rapid change in technology like operating systems, so advanced operating systems are not supported to the older version of softwares. Like these are not supported to older versions means the developing companies did not provide the backward compatibilities. Parliament replication means the information is having confidentiality, availability and integrity of electronic documents, and they can easily get manipulated. So the wide area networks and the internet form of these big networks, it allows the flowing data beyond the physical boundaries. So here the attackers can easily transmit their data, and it also creates difficulty in the identification of original data. So these are some challenges. So in targeted proliferation of mobile devices, we are using three types of handheld devices like mobiles, wireless devices, standard laptops, standard PDS. PDA means personal digital assistants. So laptops or desktops. So we have awareness of this proliferation of mobile devices. So trends in mobility means so user mobility and its implications. So user mobility, device mobility, session mobility, and these are its implications. So credit card frauds. So now we are using 4G networks. In this m-commerce means mobile commerce and mobile banking. Here the credit card frauds are now becoming very they are targeting our mobile systems, handheld devices, like so like we are using mobile devices and credit cards and debit cards. So wireless credit card processing is a relatively new service, so that it will allow a person to process credit cards electronically and virtually. So we are using wireless credit cards. So it is the process of, it is a very desirable system. So we are having debit card or credit cards. So we are swiping the credit cards. Here merchant sends a transaction message to the bank, like our customer bank, like a card issuing bank. So we are having SBI card means this merchant service. So మనం ఏదైనా షాపింగ్కి వెళ్ళినప్పుడు మనం ఆ షాపింగ్ మర్చెంట్ దగ్గర ఉన్న డివైస్లో మనం కార్డ్ అనేది స్వైప్ చేస్తాం. సో ఆ మర్చెంట్ సర్వర్ అనేది మనం యాక్చువల్ మన బ్యాంక్ సర్వర్కి ఒక మెసేజ్ పాస్ చేస్తుంది. సో here the merchant server also uses security control modules and the banks also using security control modules. So మనం పిన్ అనేది ఎంటర్ చేసినప్పుడు సో అది ఒక రిక్వెస్ట్ని అథరైజ్డ్ కార్డ్ హోల్డర్కి ఒక మెసేజ్ని పాస్ చేస్తుంది అనమాట. సో మనం పిన్ అనేది కరెక్ట్గా ఎంటర్ చేసినప్పుడు సో అది అప్రూవ్ అవుతుంది. సో మనం రాంగ్ పిన్ ఎంటర్ చేసినప్పుడు అది రిజెక్ట్ అవుతుంది అనమాట. సో the bank or merchant is notified. So the PIN is approved or rejected or declined. So if the PIN is corrected, the process is completed. So if we enter the wrong PIN means the bank declined the transaction process. So here the merchant sends a transaction message to the bank, and bank transmit the request to the authorized card holder. So the card holder approves or rejects the like PIN protected. Like the bank merchant is notified, is it approved or rejected? then the credit card transaction is completed. So we are having some security challenges in mobile devices. So this is increasing of mobile device users, and we are having some security challenges and cost and complexity of device management, and we are having some user technical issues. And we are having some registry settings for our mobile devices, like some personal computers and Microsoft Outlets. They are using ActiveSync, and it is the gateway between the Windows powered PC and Windows mobile powered devices. So using this, we can easily transmit the Microsoft Office documents, pictures, music, and videos, and applications from the user's desktop to their own handheld devices. So this ActiveSync can synchronize, it can directly synchronize with the Microsoft Exchange server, so that the users can keep their emails, calendars, or any other informations in their PCs. So this registry settings becomes an important. It is an important issue in the various applications. So organizational measures for handling mobiles means here we are using some, two algorithms like Ringdal algorithm, multidimensional space rotation algorithm. So in this encrypting organizational databases using two algorithms. So Ringdal algorithm and multidimensional space rotation algorithm is providing some strong encryption methods. So using strong encryption methods, we can easily encrypt the data and we can easily pass the messages. So including mobile devices in security strategies means we are using some security strategies in our mobile devices. And organizational security policies and measures in mobile computing means, so our Indian government is providing some guidelines for the implementing mobile devices, and they are providing some security policies. And organizational policies for the user handheld devices means like operating guidelines. So to determine the endpoints in the organization, they need to use the mobile computing devices. So based on some risks, they are using their mobile devices to benefit the organization and industry. So they are using that regularity environments, and they are developing a specific network for using mobile computing devices, and it includes some guidelines for the data syncing, and they are using some firewalls and antivirus and anti-malware softwares, and they can standardize the mobile computing device and the associated security tools. And organizational policies means, so some companies are using mobile devices, and they may be adapted. All mobiles comes under an umbrella mobile policy, but they find over the time that they need to modify their policies to match the challenges, and they are having some different kind of mobile handheld devices. So for example, the wireless devices they are facing some different challenges. They coming to the non-wireless devices also having some challenges. So the employees who use mobile devices more than 20% of the time, they will have different requirements than less frequent users. So the companies may need to create separate policies for the mobile devices on the basis of whether they are using wireless or wired connections. And coming to the laptops. Laptops means we are providing some securities for the laptops using cables and hardware and locks, laptop safes, and motion sensors and alarms, and warning labels and stamps. Cables means, so in this we are having some Kensington cables like, so from this cable, one end is like, it is like it is having one slot of the laptop, like మనం యూఎస్బి కేబుల్ ని అటాచ్ చేసినట్టు ఇది ఒక కేబుల్ తో మనం మన డివైస్ కి అటాచ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. అండ్ ఇంకొక ఏంటంటే లైక్ పాస్వర్డ్ ఆర్ కీ ఆర్ నెంబర్ లాక్ ఆర్ ఎనీ అలారం సిస్టమ్ అనేది ఉంటుంది. సో ఈ కేబుల్స్ అన్ని మనం ఒక ఫిక్స్డ్ ఫర్నిచర్ కి అటాచ్ చేస్తాం. ల్యాప్టాప్ సేఫ్స్ మీన్స్ ఇట్ ఈస్ యూజ్డ్ the safes are made with the polycarbonate material, so it is like a bulletproof material, so that it can provide the safeguard to the laptops and also laptop devices like CD-ROMs, hard disk drives. And motion sensor alarms means, so here the system is providing the laptop is transmitting some radio signals to certain range of around the laptop, so that we can easily identify our systems. So warning labels means these labels having tracking information and the identification details. So these labels are having some unique identification number is, so labels have an identification number, it is unique identification number, so it is stored in the universal database. So using this we can easily identify our laptop. So those who are stolen laptops, they cannot sell our laptops, so it is difficult process. So these labels are having some using identification numbers and identification details. So it is recommended labels for the laptops. And also we are having some countermeasures for the protecting our laptops, like keeping the laptop close to ourselves, carrying the laptop in a different and obvious bags. So these are our laptops concepts. So can you give the attendance, please? Series 523.
Present, ma'am.
582.
Present, ma'am.
506.
Present, ma'am.
511. 527. 545. 56. 63.
Present, ma'am.
582. C4.
Present, ma'am.
C7.
Present, ma'am.
D4.
Present, ma'am.
Z0. M6. 501. 18 series
Present, ma'am.
501.
Present, ma'am.
502.
501.
2. 3.
Present,
4.
ma'am.
3. 503 streaker.
Present,
4.
ma'am. Present.
Streaker.
Ma'am, 503 present, ma'am.
Okay, ma. 504.
Present, ma'am. 504.
5.
Present, ma'am.
6. 7. 8.
Present, ma'am.
9.
Present, ma'am.
10. 11.
Present, ma'am.
12.
Present, ma'am.
13. 14, 15,
Present, ma'am.
16,
Present, ma'am.
17,
Present, ma'am.
18, 19, 20,
Present, ma'am.
21,
Present, ma'am.
22,
ma'am. Present, ma'am.
23,
Yes, ma'am.
24,
Present, ma'am.
26,
Present, ma'am.
27,
Present, ma'am.
28,
Present, ma'am.
29, 30,
Present, ma'am.
31,
Present, ma'am.
32,
Present, ma'am.
34,
Present, ma'am.
35, 36,
Present, ma'am.
38, 39,
Present, ma'am.
40,
Present, ma'am.
41,
Present, ma'am.
42,
Present, ma'am.
43,
Present, ma'am.
44,
Present, ma'am.
45,
Present, ma'am.
46,
Present,
40, 47,
46. Present, ma'am.
okay, ma, 47, 48,
Ma'am, 29.
29. వంశీ అటెండెన్స్ పిలిచినప్పుడు రెస్పాన్స్ ఇవ్వలేదు. 48, 49,
Present, ma'am.
50,
Present, ma'am.
51,
Present, ma'am.
52, 53,
I'm 48 present, ma'am.
53, 54,
Present, ma'am.
55,
Present.
56,
Present, ma'am.
57, 58,
Present, ma'am. 558.
59, 60.
Present, ma'am.
So the absentees are 17 series 511, 27, 545, 56, A2, Z0, M6, 18 series 502, 506, 507, 510, 513, 514, 518, 519, 535, 547, 552, 553, 557 and 559. Okay, thank you for the session, ma.